Hello, Happy New Year. Thank you for everyone for joining us today. And this is Ron with TimeSolv, and we will be having our presentation being recorded for anyone to listen to it at a later time. We'll be going over how TimeSolv and LawPay can assist you in growing your revenue in 2016. Our speakers today will be Raza Hassan with TimeSolv and Janelle Benefield with LawPay. Raza's been with TimeSolv for over 10 years, and Janelle is a director with a program director with LawPay, and has over 15 years of credit card processing experience. Without further ado, I will turn this over to Raza.
Thank you, Ron, and Happy New Year to all of you. Great to see so many people attending. I'm happy to share my experience serving law firms for the last 10 years in the legal billing arena, and excited to show you what we have here partnering with LawPay. And I'm also really happy to have Janelle here accompany us. Over to you, Janelle, to just say a few words about your background, and we can hear who Janelle is.
Certainly, certainly. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending this webinar today. We're going to be exploring some modern payment tools that you can use in your law firm to help increase your cash flow, and some ideas to help you get paid faster. And so I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Raza so we can jump in.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Janelle. Before we start the webinar, we would like to just give you a quick overview of TimeSolv. TimeSolv has been in business for 15 years, and we are striving to be the best online legal billing software. Partnering with LawPay is one of the things we are doing to help you achieve best and quickest billing process to get paid. Our business has been providing billing, as I said, for 15 years, and recently we have redone our product, and now our uptime is close to 100%, which is a pretty remarkable feat for an online provider. We can do updates without even impacting any users. In addition, just note that we have an easy to use and highly efficient billing software. It is backed by legal billing experts ready to provide you training and support. We provide online training one-on-one, and it is unlimited to ensure that you are up and running and are happy with the start of the new trial that you would launch, I guess, after this webinar. Our billing experts will be here to help you. Now let's hear about LawPay.
Okay, great. So LawPay was founded in 2005, and we currently process payments for 30,000 clients, specifically attorneys and law firms across the country. Our program is recommended by 42 state bar associations as the correct way to process both retainer payments and also process invoices by credit and debit card. And so we give law firms the ability to separate that money and ensure that the trust account stays intact and that you're not commingling funds.
All right, wonderful. So again, the webinar for today is to help you grow your revenue in this new year. And now we'll start with just saying that this webinar is not about marketing, not about accounting or finance. You can make changes to your marketing, but those type of actions and efforts take longer to show results. What we are going to show you how you can change your billing and time tracking process and grow your revenue right away by just making some simple changes, because that's what we focus on. That's what we have expertise in, is the time and billing process. So the agenda for the webinar for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to talk about how you make changes to your billing rate and the billing process to increase your revenue. Number two, how you incentivize your workers and your associates and your partners to work harder and add more to your bottom line. Number three, We will talk about with LawPay and TimeSolve as the right tools for you, how you can get paid faster. I will also show you a bit of a quick overview through a demonstration of TimeSolve and answer any of your questions. I'll start by stating just the obvious. All of you, I hope, already know it, but sometimes it gets overlooked. You should increase your hourly rate on an annual basis. As you know, you're charging for your experience. It is not just that you went to school and achieved a degree as a JD. You're charging for creating value, for solving problems for your clients, and the greater the experience, the higher the price. So please have this included in your engagement letter and make sure that you increase your price so that your revenue would go up right away in this new year. Another thing I want to point out about the hourly rates is that attorneys are judged by their billing rate. And it is a good way or one way of clients to assess your competence. And it is considered that an attorney billing $500 an hour is considered more competent than an attorney charging $200 an hour. So your goal should be to charge the highest billing rate that is specific to your particular practice area and region. And if you have to discount, do not lower your hourly rate. Only discount at the bottom line on the invoice as a separate line item. This way, your client knows that you're getting or they're getting a specific amount of discount, and they may also understand that if for some reason you are not happy or they're not paying their bills on time, you can remove that discount. So again, you're discounting clearly, separately, and not as part of your hourly rate. Next is to change the mindset, change the way how people look at time tracking associated with monthly billing. It should be considered a completely separate process to track time versus doing your billing. Once you have tracked the time, it is like money in the bank. You can go ahead and cash it at any point in time. And what we recommend is that billing should be a monthly process as you currently do that. Make the time entry a daily or a weekly process. Now let's look at how do you implement this change and put it into practice. So the first thing you should do is to have a time tracking policy. What that should entail is, again, time is money, so require yourself and all your employees and associates to capture all the time. By knowing where the time is going, you have an opportunity to understand the low value tasks and efforts that your firm is performing so that you can outsource them or hire a lower priced person for them to take on those tasks. Uh, you should note that time is the most limited resource for you as an attorney. Like any other limited resource, you need to monitor it very closely. As an attorney, where you're spending your time really determines how successful your practice will be. So you want to focus on core features of your practice and practicing law and outsource and give the tasks that are not valuable to your firm to other people. Another thing with the time tracking policy should be that the time should be tracked as the work is performed, because the longer you wait from the event versus when the time is tracked, more dilution of that information takes place. Time entry, even though it is meant to track the time, It is what is describing to your clients what has been done. The more detail you can provide, the better off you are so that the client understands the value you are creating. So even if the time is not entered as the work is performed, the worst case scenario for each employee or the directive should be that they should do this by the end of the day, and maybe worst case, they should review all the time entries, make sure all the time is in by the end of the week. So this is again a change and implementation in mindset to have a time tracking policy. Next, from the person who creates and manages your bills, maybe called the billing admin, every Monday they should check to see if there is any time that is missing. If any time is missing, they should go and check with the person who is supposed to do the work. Make sure everybody has put in their 40, 50, 60 hours that are expected off of them. And if there is anything missing, that is corrected and captured. And the billing admin reviews all the time entries as if they are doing it for actual billing. They're just reviewing the time entries to be ready, accurate, correct all the typos, and then close them out. Once that process is complete, time and expense entries are closed out. Nobody can go and change that any entries in that period. So again, this is sort of that closing out process that can be done independent of billing once a week. Next, you should provide incentives for workers or your associates, partners to work harder. Most human beings like incentives so that they can see the results of their labor. So what we recommend is to have a combination of base pay with commission. Just to clarify, the commission should be based on collections and not billings. We have seen it done otherwise, and it is not desirable for a business to pay somebody when you are unable to collect that bill. The commissions can be structured in three different ways. The simple, mostly used option is to pay somebody based on their individual contribution. So, as a percentage of what is collected due to a particular partner's effort or an associate's effort, they get paid maybe 10 to 15% of the revenue that they're generating. The second level is the matter lead. These are the people who are leading a matter. For example, if an attorney is leading an IP effort, they should get they should be able to collect part of that work because there is a team of people working on this particular matter. Third, which is less used, again, it's an option but not as much used from our observation, is the productivity of a whole team, which is part of a practice group. So let's say you have a senior partner managing a practice, whatever that practice generates, maybe the partner gets 5% of that. Again, this option is not as commonly used, but it is available. Finally, you have done the work. All the time is captured on a weekly basis. To get paid faster, automate all your billing by using the right tools. And again, TimeSolve with LawPay enable you to get the bills out quickly. You have a client portal where the client can click on a link delivered to them by the email. They click on it, they can view the invoice, and they can pay for it. One option we do provide, I mean, we're not promoting it, is if you have a client who needs printed bill, you can use an auto mail feature in TimeSolve where the bill gets printed and mailed and sent to them via first class mail the next day. Next, make sure you are trying to collect as much revenue upfront. A lot of people have trouble paying later, so if you can collect it upfront, put that money into your retainer or trust account, that is the best way of making sure that you are going to have lower accounts receivables. Again, with TimeSolve and LawPay, you can easily do that. And if a client is unable to pay all the money upfront, let's say you need to collect $5,000, you can ask them to do recurring payments. And if they're supposed to pay $5,000, you can do $1,000 a month recovering payment so that they are already set up on a payment plan. Now, let's look at all these exciting things, and I'll go through a short demonstration of combination of TimeSolv and LawPay. So I'm going to switch over to the browser view of TimeSolv. I am logged into TimeSolv. Just a quick review. Here on the left-hand side on the time entry, we have a calendar. The calendar shows daily totals, weekly totals, and the monthly totals, and the amount that has been billed for this month. The nice thing about it is that the timekeeper clearly knows how much time they have captured and put in. So this is really critical that they are keeping, track of their totals and making sure that before they go home, they have put in the number of hours that they spent sitting at their desk. So I'm going to go ahead and make some time entries. I can search just by typing in a couple of letters, and then I can put in the hours I worked, and I'm just going to say I worked 2 hours. I can create internal notes or description for the description. TimeSolv supports built-in abbreviations that can be defined specific to your firm by you. So you can type in, for example, CC, click on space bar, and it changes that to conference call with client. And now you can do save and duplicate. If you have more than one entry for the same client, you can add additional text by using another abbreviation. You can make this box bigger, and I'm going to just make a second entry. So I have put in 4 hours for today, and as you can see, I can do this relatively quickly. Time entries are in. Now let's go to create a draft bill, and on the draft screen I can come here and say new draft invoices. I pick the client, I can change the date. I'll just pick today, or you can do don't specify and then you get everything. I click on create. That gives me a draft invoice. I can modify this invoice. I can look at this invoice, download this as needed, but in the, I guess, interest of time, I'm just going to go ahead and finalize this bill. And it says one invoice successfully sent. It also displays that invoice for me on the browser. I can see those 2 entries I just entered. Now I'm going to go ahead and look at LawPay. Oh, sorry, before I go into LawPay, I want to look at my email. And I'm going to receive an email as a client. And here's the email. It has a message here for Dear Joe to pay the bill. You can customize this as needed. I'm going to go ahead and click on view and enter my payment. And sorry, this window was hiding behind the email window. But this is the portal. This is that invoice we just have created. As a client, I can look at the invoice. I can save, print, download as I need to, and then I can just click on pay. And since we want them to pay the full amount, the amount is already pre-filled. They can change it if they wanted to. I'll go to pay via credit card, or I can also say pay via bank account. Now I'm going to fill out a test account number. Sorry, I'm trying to locate that on my computer here.
And so just to kind of jump in while you're putting that information in, Raza, so what TimeSolv has done is they've created a way that the clients can actually access the portal. They don't have to log in. They can enter in their own credit card information and view and pay that bill easily, all via an email message. So I think that's one of the big benefits of the new integration is that they can access the portal and see their information in their invoices, but they don't necessarily have to log in order to get to that information.
Yep. Thank you, Janelle, for that clarification. Yes, that makes it really easy for clients to pay law firms' bills because they don't have to log in. They just click on a link, and as Janelle said, they just put in the payment information, and the payment is processed through LawPay. Quick thing: this is what would be viewed by your client. You have the option to show them time entries for the billed entries on unbilled or all. They can see the hours that have been billed on a particular matter. They can see the billed amount, the work in progress hours, and the work in progress amount. They can do the same thing with expenses. They can view and pay their prior invoices. They can look at their payment history, make retainer deposits. So again, this is available as part of TimeSolve as the client portal. Now let's go ahead and look at the LawPay. We have processed that payment, but before I go there, I do want to show you my favorite option, and I guess I have to log back in, which is okay because of security. That session was expired. Is that I can set up a recurring charge, and I can say, okay, this is for child custody matter for a particular client. I can put in the amount, and let's say I say $1,000. I can define when to start it, and then this is the cool thing. We can decide, okay, do you want to get paid monthly or weekly? What the frequency of recurring payment is, and then you can come here and say, okay, stop when you have collected the total of $5,000. I think another thing, just from uh, Janelle has observed that some clients just go never and just keep collecting, I guess, a specific amount every month as a recurring payment. So you can do either way, and it gives you a lot of flexibility to collect payments.
Correct. And if I could just interject, it's very easy in the LawPay system to schedule these payments and to put clients on payment plans so the payments are automatically processed for the law firm, and you guys don't have to do any work outside of, kind of building out this recurring profile, what their payment plan is. But another interesting use case that we've seen is that attorneys, if they know they're going to be out of the office, maybe they're working a court case and they're going to be busy, then they can come out here and schedule payments for clients while they're on vacation, while they're at court. There's a lot of different uses that you can schedule those payments out into the future and have them automatically billed. And, of course, never would be great if you're doing a retainer that's on an ongoing basis and they need to refresh that retainer. That's a good use. But you can also say when the total is paid, and the profile will cut off, if they owe $5,000, we'll take out 5 draft attempts of 1,000, and then they won't be drafted, or we won't attempt to collect any more money. So a lot of interesting ways where you can easily set these up in 1 to 2 minutes. And then, again, we're trying to make it as easy as possible to have money going into the checking account.
Perfect. And just note that the money can go both into your trust account or the operating account, however you want to set this up. Next, I guess, just to kind of give you, this is the dashboard. You can see the payments that are processed, and this is that payment we just have processed using that invoice from TimeSolve, and you can take a look at it. I guess it's paid by American Express, and
And this invoice can be
that,
customized for the law firm, can have the law firm logo on it.
okay, great. All right, so this covers our demonstration of LawPay and TimeSolve. One thing I would like to just clarify on the TimeSolve side is that we have not shown you all the features, but we do have all the features to implement what we have proposed today. For example, I talked about increasing your hourly rate. TimeSolve allows you to change your rates selectively and also retroactively. So you can say, I'm going to change the rates on today January 15th and change everything starting January 1st. The second thing is, as I showed you, you can see as a timekeeper your daily, weekly, and monthly totals. You can close out time and expense entries, so those closed out periods cannot be modified by non-admins. Next, you can check on missing time, run one report, and see if anybody forgot to put in 8 hours per day or 40 hours per week. Next, you have the ability to define commissions at 3 different levels and run reports to figure out how much should be paid to those individuals. And then finally, we have a robust trust accounting capability. In addition, I guess just to make this exciting and wish you New Year and provide you a special for the New Year. Not only we are providing, I guess, you know, typically we provide 1 month free. This time for the webinar attendees or even the people who are unable to attend but are receiving this webinar recording by email, we will provide you with 2 months of free subscription, both on the TimeSolve side and also on the LawPay side.
Correct.
And
So would like to invite you to try TimeSolve, invite you to try out LawPay, test out sending some invoices on the system, and give you an opportunity to utilize some of those tools and see if they'll be a good fit for your firm here in the new year.
great. And just on the final note here, we have a lot of experience. As I shared with you, TimeSolve has been running and doing billing for 15 years. We can review your billing process, and the same thing goes for LawPay. They can look at how and what you're paying right now, so we can provide you a better way of what you're currently doing, so you can get paid faster and be able to grow your revenue in this 2016. So again, Happy New Year, and thank you for your attending.